What if I told you that the greatest prison in the world is one you'll never see? No walls, no bars, no guards, and yet, almost everyone is trapped inside it, including you. It follows you everywhere. It speaks with your voice. It shapes every decision you make, every fear you feel, every regret you carry. But here's the terrifying part: most people die without ever realizing they were prisoners. So, what if the key to freedom has been with you this entire time? Act 1. The voice you never questioned. Every single day, without realizing it, you listen to thousands of thoughts. Some remind you of your biggest mistakes, others convince you to fear things that haven't even happened yet, and somehow, you believe every single one of them. Think about it. When a voice inside your head says, "You're not good enough," who told you it was telling the truth? When it whispers, "You'll never succeed," why do you believe it without question? The strange thing is, you question other people all the time. You question the news, you question strangers, you question advice, but the one voice you almost never question is your own. For most of us, that voice has been talking for so long that we've mistaken it for our identity. We don't say, "My mind is telling me I'm a failure." We say, "I am a failure." We don't notice the difference, but that small difference changes everything, because the moment you believe every thought, you stop living in reality. You start living inside a story written by your mind. And the more you believe that story, the stronger the prison becomes. Imagine sitting alone, in complete silence, no phone, no music, no one around you, just you. How long do you think it would take before your mind starts talking? A few seconds, maybe less. It reminds you of something embarrassing. It replays a conversation from years ago. It worries about tomorrow. It imagines a future that doesn't exist. It judges people, then it judges you, and it never seems to run out of things to say. The strange part: you didn't ask it to begin, and you don't know how to make it stop. For most people, this voice is so familiar that they never question it. They simply assume, "This is who I am." But let me ask you something. If you can hear that voice, who is listening? Think about it. A singer cannot be the song, a writer cannot be the words on the page, and the observer cannot be the thing being observed. So if you're able to notice your thoughts, maybe, just maybe, you are not your thoughts. That single realization is where freedom begins. Not because your thoughts disappear, but because, for the very first time, you stop believing that every thought deserves your attention. And once that happens, the prison begins to crack. Act 2. The prison was never real. Imagine, a man falls asleep, and in his dream, he's trapped inside a prison. The walls are cold, the doors are locked. No matter how hard he tries, he can't escape. Hours pass, days pass, years pass. He cries, he fights, he gives up. Then suddenly, he wakes up, and in a single moment, the prison disappears. Not because he escaped it, but because it was never real to begin with. Now ask yourself, how many prisons have you created inside your own mind? A conversation that ended 5 years ago, yet you still replay it. A mistake you refuse to forgive yourself for. A future that hasn't happened, yet you're already afraid of it. None of these things exist right now. The past exists only as memory. The future exists only as imagination. Yet most people spend their entire lives moving back and forth between the two. Very few ever stop to experience the only place where life actually happens. This moment. The mind hates the present, because in the present, it has nothing to fight, nothing to regret, nothing to fear. That's why it constantly pulls you somewhere else. Yesterday, tomorrow, anywhere, except here. And maybe, that's the prison. Not the world around you, but a mind that never allows you to live the life that's already unfolding in front of you. Act 3. The greatest illusion ever created. Imagine wearing a mask every single day of your life. At first, you know it's only a mask, but after years, you forget, you begin to believe, the mask is who you are. That's exactly what happens with the ego. The ego isn't evil. It isn't your enemy. It's simply a story. A story built from your name, your past, your achievements, your failures, your beliefs, and everything you've experienced. Over time, you become so attached to that story that you protect it at all costs. When someone criticizes your opinion, it feels like they're attacking you. When you lose your job, it feels like you've lost your identity. When a relationship ends, it feels like a part of you has died. But has it? Or has the mind simply convinced you that you are the story you've been carrying? Think about a child before the world gave them labels, before success, before failure, before status, before comparison. They didn't need to prove their worth. They simply existed, fully present, fully alive. Somewhere along the way, the ego took over. It whispered, "Be better, be richer, be more successful, be more important." And without noticing, you spent years chasing an identity, instead of living your life. The greatest trick the ego ever played was convincing you that peace could only come after becoming someone else. But peace has never belonged to the future. It has always existed, behind the mask, behind the story, behind the endless voice, waiting for the moment you finally stop believing that the mask is you. Act 4. The only moment that ever existed. Let me ask you a simple question. Where is yesterday? Can you touch it? Can you go back to it? No, it exists only as a memory. Now think about tomorrow. Can you see it? Can you hold it? Can you step into it? No, it exists only in your imagination. And yet, most people spend their entire lives moving between two places that don't actually exist. They replay the past, again and again. They imagine the future, again and again. Meanwhile, life quietly passes by, not because life is short, but because their attention is somewhere else. Think about the happiest moments of your life: watching the ocean, holding someone's hand, laughing until you couldn't breathe, standing beneath a sky full of stars. In those moments, you weren't thinking about becoming happy. You simply were, because happiness has never lived in the past, and it has never waited in the future. It has always existed inside the present moment. This is why the mind fears the present, because the present asks for nothing. No comparison. No regret. No anxiety. No pretending. Only awareness. Only now. The moment you become fully present, the endless noise begins to fade, not because your problems disappear, but because, for the first time, you stop feeding them with your attention, and that's when something extraordinary happens. You realize, peace was never something you had to create. It was simply waiting, beneath the noise, all along. Act 5. The door was never locked. Imagine standing in front of a prison cell. For your entire life, you pull on the bars, you search for a key, you blame the walls, you dream about escaping. Then one day, someone quietly walks over, turns the handle, and the door opens. It was never locked. The only thing keeping you inside was the belief that you couldn't leave. That's how awareness works. Most people think freedom comes from changing the world around them. A better job, more money. A bigger house, the perfect relationship. But even after achieving all those things, the mind quickly finds something else to chase. Because the problem was never outside. It was the habit of living everywhere except here. Awareness changes that, not by forcing the mind to become silent, but by noticing it. The next time your mind says, "I'm not good enough," don't fight the thought, simply notice it. The next time anxiety appears, don't run away from it, watch it. Like clouds moving across the sky, thoughts come, thoughts go, emotions rise, emotions fall, but something inside you remains still. That silent presence has been there your entire life, before every thought, after every thought, waiting patiently for you to notice it. Freedom doesn't begin when the mind finally becomes quiet. Freedom begins the moment you realize you don't have to believe everything your mind says. Final act. The first day of your freedom. Maybe nothing will change after this video. Tomorrow, the sun will still rise. Your phone will still ring. Your responsibilities will still be waiting for you. The world will remain exactly the same, but perhaps you won't. Maybe tomorrow, for the very first time, you'll notice the voice inside your head. Before you believe it, maybe you'll catch yourself reliving an old memory. And instead of getting lost inside it, you'll simply smile and let it pass. Maybe you'll stop worrying about a future that hasn't arrived, and instead, you'll notice something you've ignored for years: the warmth of the morning sun, the sound of the wind, the rhythm of your own breathing, the silence between your thoughts. Because life has never been hiding in yesterday, and it has never been waiting for tomorrow. It has always been here. I and this breath. I and this heartbeat. I and this moment. Perhaps that's what freedom really is: not escaping the world, but finally escaping the prison you've carried within it. The prison of endless thinking, the prison of fear, the prison of becoming, and maybe, the person you've spent your entire life searching for was never waiting somewhere in the future. Maybe they've been here all along, quietly waiting, on the other side of the present moment. So when this video ends, don't rush to the next one. Don't reach for your phone immediately. Just sit for 1 minute, listen, breathe, observe, not to become someone new, but to remember who you were before the noise, because the greatest journey you'll ever take isn't across the world. It's the one that leads you back to this moment, back to yourself.